Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this edition of Real Talk here on Shelbyville Now. And as you may have seen in the title, we do have some breaking news today. And Bo, before we get into that, we're going to hear from our sponsor, Norris Plumbing.
Yes.
Jay and his family have been in the plumbing business for years and years.
Yes, decades.
They've got it going on. Let's hear from them. We'll be back to jump into our breaking news.
Norris Plumbing, your go-to source for licensed and insured plumbing services. Hour emergency services when you need it. Norris Plumbing, call us at 931-703-5915.
All righty, welcome back in here to Real Talk on Shelbyville Now. And today, Bo, we've got breaking news. I really expected to hear about this sooner. We thought it might have been on Tuesday, but it turns out Thursday. That's still pretty quick for the judge in Chattanooga. And he has ruled in favor of Farm Credit. Receiver has been appointed, and the bank is taking over the business and will be running all operations according to the document. Now, we don't have all the details. Well, we do have the details, but we haven't had time to go over them. And Josh has made a post on Facebook. It's got part of the document posted there, or all of it maybe. I ain't even had time to look at it, so we're breaking real fast right now.
This is a Josh Blevins story. He's been in deep on this, and he's provided this news, and we thought we'd get out as quick as possible. But a receiver has been appointed, and who is that receiver that's been appointed? Was that specified?
It was the one that they asked for.
The one that they asked for
out of Texas, and I don't remember the name. Josh has got all that.
Yeah,
but we're going to cover this in depth.
Yeah.
In the meantime, if you want to read the actual document that's online, it's on Facebook, on Shelbyville Now's Facebook site, and
it's already posted.
It's been up for about 10 minutes, and it's on the circulation. So that's one big thing. Bo, let's just speculate here and talk about this. So a receiver is going to come in. The receiver's job is to sit down and look at the real life situation, look at the books, get the books in order, and to see if it's a viable business. Yeah. To see if there's a way to pull out of this and pay off all this debt. Their concern is the debt for Farm Credit.
That's exactly
Second concern is the ongoing business. But their concern is they're going to get their money.
Yeah, they go in there and they spend a little bit for marketing to try to push everything up to see what it'll do. They'll put everything on the table.
You think they're going to spend on marketing?
Well, they might have to. If you got to get something out, they'll have to spend on some extras somewhere. It may not be marketing. But I know that they're going to have to in order to say, "Hey, no, we're good." They're going to have to establish that, and they're going to have to get past.
So let's talk about marketing just for a second. They've already got a marketing campaign going, and it's been exorbitant. I mean, they're hitting magazines all over the Southeast. They've been going on these tours and talking about it, and actually doing all kinds of stuff and spending an exorbitant amount of money on marketing. And I ain't seen the books, but all I can do is look and tell you that. So I'd say they're going to have to scale a lot of that back because that's part of the problem.
Well, here's the problem. The number one problem. They don't produce their product on site. They don't produce their product. Yes, you heard me right. They don't produce it on site. And that right there will be the thing that gets them. I don't know about you, but, if you wanted to go see maybe how it was produced or somewhere, you'd like to
You're going to have to go to Columbia.
Yeah, and it's and that's just not – that's a big – I think that's a big problem to get around. And if you want to, maybe they need to market that and say, no, here it is, instead of trying to pretend that they've got it.
Here's my question, Bo. How much value does having the world's longest bar bring to the table? Okay, think about that for a minute. And I've thought about that. That's a world record. Okay, that to me is their biggest story they have out there.
It is
not the nearest green story, because there's been a lot of confusion about what's true and what's not, and
And unfortunately, and that is the big unfortunate part of this story. Nearest Green, it was a real person that did have this recipe and did contribute to the history of Tennessee whiskey, and he's getting lost in all this. Yeah, the world's longest bar whip-de-doo what I think.
Yeah.
It'd do better, much better in Nashville. But yes, it gives you something to go to. I mean, I don't know how great it would be if 3 or 4 people at a huge long bar, but I mean, it's something. I mean,
well, it is. It
I'm
is the
sure
world's longest bar. Somebody
it has
that likes
value.
to go to bars would say, "Hey, I've been to the world's longest bar."
That the checklist.
Let's put in the world's shortest bar.
Well, we could have them both right here in Shelbyville.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I think it's an idea.
But anyway, marketing. I think they have marketed this thing into the ground, and I don't think it's helped to the point to where it's going to overrun the other spending that's been going wild. So I think the bank, if they can just get like all the leaks plugged and sit and watch for a little while, they'll know.
It's a good looking product on the face. It looks good.
Yeah.
The facility looks good. Everything does. But yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
To be determined.
People are watching out there. What do you think about this ruling that the judge gave? And we're going to talk about it Saturday and get more in depth. Josh is going to dissect this thing and tell us really what's going on with it. But what do you guys think about this judge ruling? Did you see this coming? I did.
Yeah.
And I think you did too.
I did too. I think we all did. I think it was just kind of it's the way that it felt, the way the momentum of the case was headed this early on. But those that don't know some of the details, Josh Blevins has posted a story on Shelbyville now. You can read a lot of those details and kind of catch up on what's happening. I did. I
got to brag on Josh. He was in the courtroom at that hearing.
Yes, he was.
He took notes. He wasn't allowed to have his recorder on or none of that was allowed.
Old school.
He went old school. He wrote down notes. He took notes. He knows exactly what was said and what wasn't said. Yeah. Okay, and it was right there.
Yeah.
So there can't be any misstatements made in the public. Josh knows what was said, what wasn't.
That's all he's doing is reporting what was happening there. And yes, no, I told him this week, I said, well, I'm glad you didn't have to go this week because he might not have made it through 24. You know, they had a big flood and that might have delayed some of the ruling. I don't know if it did, but I'd like to, if I'm going to speculate, I'll go ahead.
So let me ask you this, Bo. Speaking of Chattanooga and the flood.
Yep.
How in the world does I-24 get covered like it has? It's been I-24 has been through there since probably the 60s, I'm going to say. Yep. It's never happened before.
No,
so why now?
Because Mother Nature decided to stop and dump.
It's had
over. It was under. What am I trying to say? Designed, and it happened.
But Bo, we've had, and this is on record, 3 or 4 times where more rain came down faster.
Yes,
something has changed to the drainage.
Well, it has, but I think that they have not allotted. I think that the specs that they used back then were well, if it's this much rain, we can handle it. But no, we'll never have this much. Well, now we're getting it this much.
But they've had that much rain back in the 70s one time before, and it didn't even get close.
Well, then they need to take a really close look at development in the area, the way the drainage has been backed up, the way the water's running, and the way it's going.
Thank you.
Yes,
thank you, Bo. That's what's happened.
Yep. And that's happening in small towns, and it's going to show its little head more and more, especially with all this growth development we've got going on.
It ain't growth.
You're right.
I mean, honest,
we can break it down.
The numbers get larger, but the area of land is not going to change. We have the same amount of land that we started with in Bedford County.
We won't annex any of Rutherford.
No, we're not going to take over any of Coffee, so we're not growing. Okay.
You think they'd sell some?
Yeah.
I think they'd sell us some.
All right, that's just a little detail.
No.
All right, but it's interesting how that happened, and I think it has a lot to do with what you just said. Yeah. That's what I was trying to pull out.
Yeah, you pulled it out. You pulled it out. I fought tooth and nail, but you got it out.
All right, okay. So what do y'all think about the ruling? Nobody's commented yet. It's what everybody's been waiting to hear. So here it is.
Here it is. I mean, I was at the county commission meeting the other night, and people, when's he going to be released?
Yeah.
When do you think it'd be? Well, I don't know. Maybe in the next couple of days. He said 2 weeks. I'll just take him at his word. The flood happened. Who knows?
Okay, so let's just say the bank says this can't work, and they sell all the whiskey, they sell all the property that's attached to
liquidation time,
and it's developed into some major development, housing probably.
Yeah.
Who knows? I mean, you could turn it into a shopping area with a lot of different shops. You'd have to rebuild everything probably.
You would.
That piece of property has been very similar to the way it's been built since it turned into a horse barn back in the late 60s probably.
A premier horse barn. That was the facility.
It was Sand Creek Farm to start with. Well, actually it was Paradise Ranch, and then it was
predominantly
Sand Creek Farm. All right, so that goes way back. So is it suitable to go in and put a big housing development.
Oh, I would hope not. I believe that is a more of a mixed use type area. I mean, the closer to 231, the closer,
How about this?
the more commercial.
How about a large shopping area in the front, residential in the very back?
I think it's a great idea. You know, I recently traveled to Tullahoma, and on one of the areas that's usually grown up coming into Tullahoma, it's been cleared, and they're building some commercial things through there. They're starting to utilize these main arteries of the town. In this instance, that would be great. I believe it would help us from going to Murfreesboro all the time for everything. Maybe we could get some real good stuff in there. That's what we got to do is get the real stores
to get the real stuff in there. Our demographics have got to change, and it's going to be hard for our demographics to change. Bo, we're taking a look at today's report that came out. The PPI, no
doubt about it.
The PPI came out. Hold on, we're getting some New York Times. It's New York Times has basically put this out about Uncle Nearest. Just got a update on that.
So now, so we beat out New York Times on that.
So
Shovel now, tune in.
Yeah. So here's my question, Bo, and it's been made such a big part of our tourism language and our tourism pitch.
Yes.
Having Uncle Nearest here,
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we talk about it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we wouldn't be talking about this if it wasn't been made up such a big story.
Yeah.
All right. So my question to everybody out there, do you think it's going to make it as Uncle Nearest Distillery and Uncle Nearest Green Distillery or whatever? It's not a distillery yet, but it could be one day if this thing turns around. Do you guys out there think it's going to make it? Or do you think it's just going to be liquidated out and then there'll be a development come?
Well,
Bo, what do you think?
I think that Jack Daniels may come into play in that situation, and they might try to.
Yeah.
I would think it would be a perfect little side project for them because Nearest Green and Jack Daniels do have a history. That's what started it. They need to not lose the history of Nearest Green. Look, that was important history, and it was a part of the legacy of Middle Tennessee and Jack Daniels and all this. As long as he's not lost by somebody trying to make a dollar,
that story can remain on without. Because
I
honestly,
think Jack Daniels would try to bound that and maybe they'll try to push it better.
I don't think they'll pay a big amount of money on just the story.
May not. I'm speculating, but
nobody owns that story. That's the thing.
Yeah.
The family, if anybody could say they own that story.
Yeah.
Now the fairy tale, I mean, you could probably trademark the story that you want to make out of it, and it's probably been done.
We can go back and forth on what it really was. Nobody knows. That's the truth because they didn't have.
And I'm concerned. Nobody is chiming in on this. Are y'all afraid to even say anything about it? I don't know.
We're just reporting what happened, right?
I mean, okay.
Pointed a receiver.
If I was Uncle Nearest, I would have already had that conversation with Jack Daniels.
Well, I'm sure they did.
I'm sure they have.
Oh yeah, they did.
I'm sure they have. The Jack Daniels. Here's the thing that people got to realize: 11 distilleries just went bankrupt in Kentucky in the last 90 days. Whiskey itself. I don't know about spirits overall. Whiskey itself is at one of the lowest times in sales that it's had in the last 50 years.
I would like to compare that to beer consumption to see if maybe people are going to beer because it's cheaper.
I think it's not that. I think that the younger crowd are drinking less and they're more health conscious and they're staying away from that type of liquor. Yeah. I think you're seeing more I don't know.
Spritz drinkers.
Yeah, I mean, just health stuff.
I see a lot.
I think it's coffee, Bo.
Yeah, I mean, it's in Shelbyville.
And not real coffee, but that coffee with all that sugar.
That fancy stuff.
The fancy stuff. The $10 coffee. I think that's what it is.
Yes.
Instead of whiskey.
I think it might be.
All right. So let's shift gears now. I'm anxious to see what everybody thinks about this decision and how you think it's going to play out. I mean, there's no right or wrong answer here. We don't know. It's just purely speculation.
We're speculating. Yeah. I mean, we do know what's happened. They've got a receiver appointed. Yeah. And I think,
the bank is going to run it all.
They're going to run it all. And I would say that they're going to hire somebody that's good in the business. I'd say the bank's not in the whiskey business. The bank is going to have to get a contact that is good in this business. They're going to have to. I mean, they're out of Kentucky. Maybe Jim Beam will come in.
I honestly don't think they're going to linger too long on trying to make it work.
No, I don't either. But that might be something because there is a lot of Kentucky is whiskey rich too.
I've got a theory of what's going to happen. I'm not going to say it here, but I'll talk to you after we get off.
Okay, that'd be secret. You can
All
pay
right,
extra.
So let's
for that.
talk some real talk. All right. Today, the PPI, and I'm going to get this right. It's a data that comes out usually monthly. And today's data, okay, I'm gonna make sure I read this right. The PPI came in. The producer price index, a measure of prices paid to wholesalers. Okay, that means I own a business. I'm selling products. What I'm paying from the wholesaler. Okay.
Right.
Price paid to wholesalers. That's me
wholesaler.
paying to a wholesaler. Let's say I buy a saddle, okay, and I pay that wholesaler that's selling it to me for the highest rate in 3 years.
So that
in July.
So that is showing you that
highest increase.
That's showing you that everything is going up. That has gone up. That there is no
that the most it's gone up in 3 years, Bo. What's happened the last 3 doggone years? It's gone crazy up in the last 3, and this is July was the highest.
What's August going to be?
It's going to be worse, Bo, because these tariffs are hitting, and I'm so sick of everybody on television. They're like mocking people that say the tariffs are going to affect this Basant guy. He is clueless.
Yeah. No,
and the other guy, that's his tag team guy, he's clueless.
I think what it is, and I've talked to a few people about it that have different takes on it, that it's just depending on who you are and what business you are and if it's affecting you or not. Let me tell you right here, it's affecting you.
I know it.
And I don't know if
it's affecting everybody, Bo. And nobody. There's a lot of these big box stores that have absorbed it. They can't absorb it anymore. They thought this would get worked out. Now we got China kicked down the road for 90 more days.
Walmart actually, they tried to eat. They tried
to eat, and it's just a little bit more than they can swallow.
Yeah.
And here's one thing I want everybody to watch real close: tomatoes, nuts, produce out of Mexico. Coffee out of Brazil, aluminum foil. Watch out. Aluminum tariffs, 50%. It's going to affect aluminum foil. So, you ladies that like to bake, but you better stock up.
That's already in effect, right?
No, that's the tariffs are, but they ain't hit that shelf yet.
I got you.
It's coming.
So it's still working through the existing.
It's working through.
Okay.
Yes, this is a lot slower than I thought it was.
When do you expect
that? Because our business happens quick.
Right.
It's hitting now.
Yeah, the food.
Well, this right here is an indication in July. It's hitting. It's the biggest increase in 3 years, Bo.
Yeah. Wow.
The biggest price increase in 3 years. And we've had record inflation in the last 3 years.
Hey, sometimes numbers that I see, I don't know, but I could shake my head yes at this one because I feel it, and I feel like it's more. I don't know. I see things are more expensive. Okay, it's just the way it is. I go to the grocery store, things are more expensive. I've said this before.
Yeah.
It used to be, I think, oh, that's $50 worth. It come out $125.
Oh,
hey, if I'm under $175 now, I'm having a good day. That's not good.
If you were to fill your buggy up,
good,
you'd have to have $1,000.
I would. You would probably be buying Grey Poupon and all that fancy food if you're going to do that, because I don't even see how people eat the organic stuff either.
The cheap stuff.
Yeah, I'm talking cheap stuff here.
Yeah,
I'm talking cheap stuff. I mean, I don't go. I'll go great value, whatever, whatever I like. That's what I'll go. But most of the time it happens to be on the lower level. Look, those things are going up. Boxes of cereal, $5 a box, $6 a box, and no toy.
No toy. Are you kidding?
Yeah, they give you a little happy story on the back.
They just pat you on the back. Don't even give you anything.
You talk about a kick in the back.
Right. So a bag about this tall, I don't know, maybe a pound bag of M&Ms was $16 the other day. I saw it.
I mean,
all right, and everybody looks at me like, "What are you talking about?" Yeah. I'm gonna start taking pictures, and bringing receipts. I mean, this is ridiculous.
People are just corner the market.
Now, I do hear people fussing about prices, but I mean, it's like it's going up right before our very eyes, and then we hear reports of inflation's not as bad, and then this PPI comes out and it's the highest it's been in July. How can you have inflation going down in July and the PPI come out and say it's the highest increase we've had?
And you know what I'm not hearing? Hey, I sure did get an increase of my wages at work. I'm making.
Are you kidding me?
So what? How are they doing it? How are we doing it? How am I doing it? I don't know.
Bo, there's a lot of things going on right now in the world. And in the United States, all of a sudden is right in the middle of it like never before. We got this thing going on with Putin.
Yep.
Friday, tomorrow. And what's his name? Zelensky. Little man. Little G.I. Joe man. Yep. What's going to happen? Putin's got all the cards. I mean, when he moves missiles, okay, this happened yesterday, in case you didn't know. He moved nuclear missiles on the border of Belarus, right on the border with Poland.
Yeah, that was a good move.
Yeah, that's a negotiating tactic. I'm sure he's like, y'all, like, I've got the cards. And he does.
Well, we've got some beef. We've got some armaments too.
Well, let me tell you though, Bo, here's the thing. I don't have a card, but let's just say I had a card and I threw it out there. No pun intended, but I throw my trump card.
Yeah.
All right. Here's the situation. You look at Putin.
Mm-hmm.
He's grinding through Ukraine, and I don't care how many drones Ukraine flies over and blows up stuff. And
it's a slow grind.
They're taking this land. Okay. He'll sit there and grind. He puts his missiles on the Belarus border against Poland, and he threw another trump card. No pun intended. Okay. The only next card for us to play as far as NATO and the United States is to go in physically and help them.
Yeah. No.
Because they're out of people.
And that's when you just play 52 pickup. You throw them all on the ground and you
their army
away.
Looks like Weekend at Bernie's.
They do. And look, they're getting they're getting soldiers from North Korea. They're getting help from that country. But their age is going up. I have noticed that some of the troops' ages are going up. But I don't know if you can just grind that out. Let's talk history again. Napoleon, here we go, stuck in the mud, got beat. Russia, World War II, Hitler tried, got stuck in the mud, got defeated. Here we are again. They're a war nation. And I think that Trump's going to try to come with the salesman pitch. He wants to meet Putin because he wants to look him in the eye.
Yeah.
And he wants to say, look, we can be a prosperous partner with each other. Okay. I think he's going to try to sell that.
All right, here's my prediction. Everybody comes out, kumbaya, a week later. Yeah. We see Kiev just destroyed again.
I think that Trump kind of expects that, but I would like to see that response because he's lied to him, I believe, several times.
Okay, so what's Trump's next move?
Yeah, I don't know. You can't tariff him to death. You
can't.
No,
do the
American people want to go in there? And how do the Russia people feel?
We don't even buy nothing from Russia.
But how do the Russia people feel? Are they ready to go take over?
I think so.
Well, why? I don't know. No, we shouldn't get involved. We should just let what happen. God forbid that happen, but wars and rumors of wars, these things will happen. And we're over a world away. When it starts affecting us, then yeah. And you can always make an argument that, well, it will affect us. They've got a lot of power. Well, yes, that's true. But we don't need to go over there and just start hammering Russia.
We've started poking the bear, so I'm just anxious to see what happens tomorrow. I think we're going to have kumbaya tomorrow, and then a week later, the Putin's just going to shoot us a bird and just start shooting missiles again, and we're back to the same one. And Germany is they're trigger happy. They'll start this whole thing.
We don't need Germany back armed to the teeth again, but no, we'll see. We don't know. We hope, we pray, and we love the USA. How about that?
Yeah,
that was a rhyme.
So. Back into more local things. Bo, are you hearing of any kind of new businesses coming to town? Anything happening? I've heard some rumors of this and that. And one thing that I keep wondering about, and I know we've talked about this before, is there's been some things mentioned that have never panned out here that sound pretty like they're legit. Okay. You look at the Hampton Inn that we were going to get up down in the little hole down there in that area on the left across from Walmart and all down
Lowe's
in across from Lowe's. Have we heard anything about that? Have you heard anything?
No, I haven't. I know that there have actually been some talks and something going on, but I haven't heard really anything as far as, hey, we're going to break ground or hey, yeah, we're coming. Most of the time, the people will see. When a coffee shop has come in, they don't mess around. They wait till the deal's closed and then they're out there going. There's been some type of real estate deal, and I believe that the hotel has purchased the property. But
they've purchased.
It's
the
just
property.
been. I know that there's a lot of
so here's
other things going on.
So here's a question to you: do you think the economy, and then you got the situation with our celebration. The show is not like it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're still going to have people in. I don't think that would affect the Hampton Inn. I think most of these folks are driving travel trailers. They'll fill up the campgrounds over here, but I don't think hotels really fill up like they used to. So I don't think that's a factor. Do you think that Uncle Nearest in the situation that's gone on with there would have an effect?
I do. I believe if it is utilized, I believe that the majority of people that visit Uncle Nearest stay in Murfreesboro probably, or Rutherford County, or maybe even Nashville, and they just take the trip. But I would say that the one in Bedford County, they would probably want the full Bedford County experience. So I would say yes, it could. It would. I don't know how much of an impact, but hey, a hotel in Shelbyville, if you haven't noticed, there's not a lot because it's apparently not a lot of people want hotels here, but the ones we have are old and small. And a lot of times they're weekly. We don't have any people coming and going a lot. We do, but we don't. It would be nice to have a good hotel. I'm not against a great hotel.
I know, but is there enough business here to keep them full?
Know. I don't think there is. I think that's the major.
I think it's economics.
I think that's what.
I think this guy's smart.
When the ground's not breaking, that's what it usually. It comes down to money, they say.
Yeah, but he's got the money. He's just not going to blow it.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Now, and speaking local real estate, I think there'll be some new developments, maybe breaking soon. I don't know here in Shelbyville. I've heard some rumors of maybe. Some of those that have gone through, but I've still.
What about sales? What about our sales and our inventory? Have you looked at that lately?
It's down. I mean, we're still selling a lot of things, but it's as far as the appraisal practice goes. Our business has been way down. I think a lot of people are just holding their breaths. They've heard some good news that maybe the interest rates are going to fall.
They're saying they made a prediction of 3 decreases.
So what that day, the day after, it changed the game, so to speak, in a lot of ways. A lot of people are going, okay, that's the target day. Okay. So I think that's going to
let's drag this back up. PPI highest rate in 3 years, highest increase in 3 years.
Yeah.
Now we're going to get 3 interest rate drops if he follows through. Okay. What in the world does that do to your inflation rate? Dropping interest rates, basic economics, but just basic fundamentals, ABC, dropping interest rates, price increasing already, tells me we're going to have inflation out the yin-yang.
It does. I mean, nobody likes high interest rates, but exactly like you said, fundamental, honestly, it has to be up. I mean, that's just the way it is. In order to fund, we could pay off our debt if we probably raise our interest rate, couldn't we? I mean, if we all grind it down.
If we dropped it.
I mean, if we dropped
it. If we dropped it, that's the reason Trump wants to do it. But you're talking about an inflation rate like you ain't never seen if we actually have 3 interest rates dropping. By the way, the interest rate we have right now is low. Yes. Historically, it's low.
Yeah, I mean, the horrors of the 80s and the early or late 70s. We're
10 years ago, Bo. Yeah. It was 6, 7, 8%. 15 years ago, and people did business like that. And what is it now? 5, 6,
7. Yeah,
7.
I think Jerome Powell looks like has been just politically about just caved in. He just he does change the interest rate. I mean, this has all been a political ploy. I believe that he might that the Secretary of the Treasury might be acting in the best interest of the country. But Trump wants the economy to start going again, and a lower interest rate would help houses, and that's going to happen. But I think Jerome Powell's kind of getting he's kind of getting. He's going to be the fall guy on this one.
But if he does it right, he's going to be maybe 1 interest rate drop. But if you do 3, but between now and Christmas, at Christmas time and the first part of the year, our inflation rate's going to be to the point to where you ain't seeing nothing, and people are going to be starving.
Well, you're exactly right, and that's scary.
That is economics 101. So it's just going to happen.
I mean, what would they think? Did they? I don't think I saw any numbers, projected numbers. Were they thinking of coming down to like 4.5 or something? I think it's 7.
3 quarter-point drops.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
so you're looking at 3/4 of a point and over, like stair-stepping it slowly.
Let me ask you a
Trump
question.
wants it to 0.
Let me ask you a question historically on that. When they had these projections, have they ever not gone through with their projections, or have they ever raised them, or maybe
they've said one thing, done the opposite?
So we don't know.
We don't know. And I think a lot of it has to do with the national debt. Trump wants 0 interest. He don't want any interest. He just wants everybody to have money. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
and when that happens,
that's. I mean,
you're looking at that.
I mean,
it's unbelievable.
Prices will just keep going up, and we'll just $1,000 will buy a loaf of bread.
Tariffs will help pay down the debt or become a rebate to the people. Yeah, it's going to have to be a rebate because everything you're going to buy is going to be twice the price.
Yeah, rebate me to death. I'll take it.
Yeah, and that right there is self-perpetuating inflation when you start handing money out to people.
That's all it is.
And trust me, if you handed me $1,000, Bo, I'd say thank you.
I'm sure you would.
Okay,
you're a nice guy.
But you know what? If everybody got $1,000, I've heard $2,500. Same thing that happened with our other $2,500 during COVID. Yep. Inflation's going to go through the roof.
Yeah, nothing's free.
That's what created it. Free money is what created inflation.
Nothing is free. Okay. It's the truth. Basics. It's true.
101 economics. That's just what it is. All right. And then another thing the low interest rates do, they keep the stock market overinflated. We've got so many things out of balance right now. The stock market's going up and the price of gold's going up at the same time. That don't work that way.
Yeah, no, it don't. And you're hearing great things about the stock market, but you're not hearing the gold of our precious metals.
Allie, just for the record, you're paying the tariffs. I mean, I'm just telling you like it is.
In one way or
the
other,
other countries do not pay the tariffs. When you hear Trump say that, we're going to tariff them, that means their products coming to us and we pay for it.
That means we're going to tariff them. That comes into the country, and then you come to pick up your product, and they say, hey, is that $100 like usual? They're like, no, you got to pay the $30 tariff or the $300 tariff or whatever tariff I say.
The percentage.
And then you pay it. And then you say, what if I just pay you the $100? You don't get it. Then you have to pay it, and then it has to go to your customer. I get it. It's really been, it's kind of hasn't been clearly stated how tariffs work. And
it's pretty clear, Mo. I can just show you.
I know that too,
but they're not telling it.
Nobody
in government is telling you how a tariff works. Right now, we have the highest tariffs the United States has had since the Great Depression. Now let that sink in for a minute.
Well, listen. Here's what I'll hope this happens for years and years, and this is the hurt we're going through. That one day America's going to be back to be able to produce and to be able to make all this stuff that we consumers want. But with the minimum wage and everything that's going on, that's really hard to see. But I would really hope that's what we're going to see. If we're going to go through that hard time to get to that, I mean, okay, bring it on. I'll come kicking and screaming.
Let me tell you what the hard time looks like. 2/3 of small businesses in this country fold within the first 2 years. If this keeps on, they're going to start dropping like flies.
I didn't say I'd like it. It'd be kicking and screaming.
I know, but what that does is we're not in a recession at that point, Bo. There's nobody selling products except the big corporations, and they're going to struggle because nobody's going to have the money to buy anything.
That's right. No, it's going to have to give some way or another in order for us to be able to get back to where we were.
Allie, just more incentive to do business in America. When you can't buy a product in America that you need, what do? Do without? Well, how about toilet paper?
You've demonstrated that at your level of
business. Here's where I'm at. I could be ordering some stuff right now from India, okay? Only place I can get some of the stuff.
Yes.
But the threat of the 50% tariff automatically says I'm not going to be able to sell that product when I get it. So I'm not ordering.
Yeah.
I'm just not ordering.
Or do you talk to your customers and say, well, are y'all willing to pay this? And if they say, yeah, then maybe you could. But I mean, that's, you don't know who your customers are.
Here's the thing. The whole point of buying from over there is to get a better price and you buy more.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we could sell it, but a third the amount, and you can't buy it in small amounts. You have to buy large amounts.
And we've talked about this before. The quality used to be, you say, oh, that's China junk. Well, now they've stepped up their quality and they make stuff just as good or not better than we had. And it's sad to see. I wish all that was back here, and I think it can, but it's going to hurt to get there. It really is. And I think maybe that's what we're going through.
All right. Richard Vincent makes a point about what happened after World War II, and he wrote a long post here. He's talking about reciprocal tariffs. The thing about it.
Oh, yeah.
Reciprocal tariffs means that it's same both ways.
Right.
Right now, what's being negotiated is not reciprocal tariffs.
You won't balance in this. And
let's just say,
no balance.
How about no tariffs anywhere?
Yeah, how about that?
Okay, and our products are not tariffed when they go into Vietnam or China, and your tariffs aren't tariff. Your products aren't tariffed when they come in. That would be reciprocal.
Isn't that the definition of free trade?
Yes, we don't have free trade.
Then why do we keep spouting out free trade?
Here's the thing: if we shut down all trade, just put an embargo on everything coming to the United States, this country would fold. And here's the reason why. We're so dependent upon China for 65% of our household goods.
Yeah, it's sad. Okay. We look at everything at home.
We would starve on top of that. Yeah, we would all have to, and I'm going to encourage everybody, start growing a garden because it's coming. Yeah. You ain't going to be able to afford to buy just like produce.
Yeah, and as American, we would all bounce back. But man, let me tell you, that's true. Most things are made from China now. We've let them. They've got it cornered, and we like our stuff.
And here's another thing. He mentioned this too, which is very true. The problem is lack of manufacturing wages. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Manufacturing wages. We don't have manufacturing bodies.
Oh, what we do is we are a packaging and a shipping and a distribution
service.
That's what we do. If you notice, most industries around here, they're packaging. They've got it on the shelves. They're packaging it and sending it.
Yeah.
You don't see the welder. Not many places. I mean, we've still got producers in here. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying there's not producers, because there are. But at a global or at a level that we need, and that would be sufficient for the economy to work.
So here, let me explain this. Let's just talk about this for a second. And I brought this up. Let's say that a manufacturing job here in the United States pays $25 an hour to make this pen. Let's just say that's it. It's probably not that much. Let's say it's $20 an hour. Okay. In China, it's more like $3.50. Okay. So are we willing to pay 5 times the price for this ink pen? If we are, it will work. If we still want cheap prices, then it won't work, because any business that's going to manufacture this, guess what? They got to make money to keep the lights on. This is just basic business stuff. All right. And you start thinking through it like that.
That's right.
It's go, we're in a mess.
Yeah. Sometimes you need a visual example of how that applies. And that's just truth. I mean, you've demonstrated it to me and everybody that watched in other shows.
All right. So you can get 100% American product this Saturday at 6 p.m. at the VFW post.
All right.
Come with free food and all the bluegrass you can stand. Tell us more about that.
Yeah.
What is actually going on at the VFW? 100% American product. What are those products? Let's give it a plug here, because
can I bring my dobro? Is it free picking? Because I play a dobro. Is this like a picking?
Well, this is a 100 American product at 6 p.m. Come with free food and all the bluegrass you can stand.
Woo.
Is the product the bluegrass, or is there going to be like
I think that's it. No, that is an American product. Maybe that's what he's saying. Bluegrass.
Played on a Chinese guitar.
It did. Hey, I've got an American. I look in it. It's American Guitars. It used to be a company. I look in there and it says made in China, but it's a great guitar. That's what I'm saying. Like Gretsch and all these other great, historically great guitars. If you look, they're made in China, but the quality is amazing.
Oh well, yeah, but their quality's gotten so much better.
And if you buy one made here in America, buddy, you're gonna pay for it, and rightfully so, because they're great too.
If we do get into manufacturing and get this thing rolling, are American citizens willing to pay 3 to 4 times the price they have been paying? All right, if they are, it will work. Are we gonna say, okay, well, we can't ship any of this overseas because China's wearing our butt out? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. Can we consume enough to keep these factories going? Well, that's going to be the question.
Well, I think we got some pretty heavy consumers around here. I don't know.
All right. So VFW Memorial Post 5019. I don't know what the product is. It must be bluegrass.
I like the product of bluegrass, because that is American, a product that you can get. And guess what? It's free if you can go just listen for it. Hey, I love some music, some country.
Free food too.
Free food.
Allie, we're going to need robots. Yeah, that's probably the way we're going to have to do it. If we don't get robots, we're not going to have workers.
Well, that's right.
But thank the Lord, though, we've got our vocational school.
Oh, yes. And I heard good stories today about this. I'm seeing people employed around town saying, well, how'd you get this job? I'm asking. They got a reference for they were a TCAT. That's great.
All right. So here's my question for you guys. I want to know, what is a good manufacturing wage? What would you consider it to be for, let's say, just a typical 30-year-old male or 30-year-old female that's going to hit the workforce and wants to change jobs? What would be an attractive hourly wage?
Yeah, I would like to know what people would think.
Now, I know that there's a push right now to get $17 an hour across the board, U.S. wide. Our Big Macs will go up quite a bit.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We're all going to pay. If that's what you want, then that's what you're going to pay. I don't know. I don't agree with that. I think that
there should be a free market.
There should be a free market, and if McDonald's, if their market is high schoolers or young adults that don't require that much money, then that'll be their market. But no, when you
but the tariffs eliminate a free market.
Yeah, a robot. We're going to be robots soon. We're going to make it'll be. You'll see just robots.
What I'm saying is the tariffs have made not a free market.
No, you're right.
And it started with other countries putting a tariff on our products and restricting what they bought. And we kind of sit and let it go. And Trump's tried to correct it, but you can't rip your face off to save your body.
Yeah,
and that's what we're doing here. So
yeah,
$27.80, Tony. All right. So we're gonna have to compete. $27.80. I like the precise amount.
Hey, man's thinking.
So $27.80 compared to $4. How are we gonna compete? We're gonna have to just shut off all imports, period, and say you got to buy American made. You can't have anything.
Yeah, you can't.
So we're gonna have to be isolationists. We can't compete on the world stage unless we have something nobody else has.
Yes.
Now, if you make a product that's a niche product that nobody else can make. Right. Which I don't know what that is, but something could pop up.
We're still rich in resources here, though. We could still be producers.
What is it that we can make that nobody else can make? That right there is where we got our leg up. I don't know what that is.
And that's what comes out of the hard times, Incentive. I mean, these ideas come out of people going through hard times, and maybe that's what that's going to bring. Maybe going through these hard times will bring out some inventions and who knows what.
So Brandy Smith says, what the internet says in a single adult would need to make $22 an hour in Tennessee to make it.
Yeah,
I'd say that's probably right.
Yeah, because if you're going to buy a house, it's $350,000 just to enter the market.
Well, you're not going to buy a $350,000 house on $22 an hour.
Yeah, that's doing without that.
If you do the math, you're looking at 7 times. You're making about $35,000 after taxes. And you ain't buying no $350,000 house on that.
I mean,
your payment's going to be what, $2,500?
And you
can't do that.
5 years ago in Shelbyville, you could buy one for $150.
Right,
maybe less.
That's doable until this housing bubble stops and takes some pressure off of young folks. Yeah. We're going to be in a big mess.
But it's holding steady. Prices are holding right now as we speak.
I think the people that start developing and sourcing their materials and their labor properly and start to bring this price back down, those will be leg up in the development side of things and get the corner of the market on cheaper housing. And I'm not saying junk housing. I'm just saying
I agree. And I think that some of the material costs have gone down where they can give a little bit. That materials were real high and then they stayed with that market. Well, when materials go by, you got to go down on your market.
All right, Brandy, on this topic of the wage, she says, and what's sad is most production jobs don't even pay that much. No, they don't, because they're competing against $4 an hour labor in China.
You can't do it.
And in Vietnam, in India, the average wage there is about $1.80 an hour. Okay, and they manipulate their currency to the point to where that's a lot of money.
That's right.
Okay,
that's right.
So we got problems. We're out of whack.
Back when this country was like that, $1.80 was a lot of money. David. And then with the way this has gone now, it's nothing.
And Brandy brings up something else. The poverty wage is actually higher than the minimum wage. It's been that way for probably 20 years.
Yeah, it is.
Because you look at the minimum wage and you double it. It's not, if two people are making the minimum wage, they can't come together, and there's no way they can even buy groceries and have transportation for that kind of price. And that's just where it is.
Yeah, and that's where.
You're competing on the world stage, and the tariffs are going to make it worse.
Yes. I mean, you heard it here. I mean, I don't think we would be talking about it if we didn't. We don't like it any more than any of you do.
Hey, Allie, you're right. A lot of people that her age cannot. I don't think there's anybody right now that can buy a home where they grew up, and they can't buy any. And where they grew up, if you're in Bedford County, it's probably the cheapest housing around.
Yeah, it is, and it's still you can't afford it. I mean, it is really sad. I'm telling y'all. Around just 5-7 years ago, $150,000 for a new house in town. That was something. Like you made big. That's big stuff right there.
And here's another. Brandy also says, why people are moving into Tennessee, because they can buy what we can't afford. They're selling their houses in New York and these other states and getting $1 million for what they can come down here and buy $350,000, $400,000.
And no income tax.
No income tax here. So we're going to get flooded. We're going to get overrun, and we're going to push right down into Mississippi if we're not careful.
Yeah, that's right. Most of them that come here from out west are like, "Well, that's cheap. You bought it," and the people selling it are saying, "Man, that's a lot."
But honestly, Bo, what does a young couple do if they can't afford a $300,000 house?
Sadly, they have
to
live
live at home. Well, they can't pay the rent.
A lot of them are living with their parents. I mean, they're getting married, they're back with parents.
Is that the new system? I mean, that's the way it was back in the 20s and 30s.
I don't see any other way besides a tent or a camper or some. I mean, there's no I guess you'd say if you wanted a nice standard of living to have it at that cost, I mean, you really can. I mean, without being in an old house or an old apartment. Yeah, I mean, it's out there, but I don't know if, sometimes new families want to be in a fresher neighborhood or a newer place. I mean, that's just the way markets go. But no, I don't know how they do it. And I think that trend is becoming. I know a few that started, and it makes sense.
Yeah. All right. So, Bo, we find ourselves gravitating toward this conversation just about every time we sit down. And I think there's a reason for that because it's on everybody's mind when they go to the grocery store. One thing right now that's stable at the moment is the price of gas. Price of crude oil is staying around that 62, 63 to 66 range.
Yeah.
As long as we stay there, we're going to be in the 250 mark.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank the Lord we're not over $3, and it could happen. Yeah. Now, nationwide, our average is probably over $3 if you look at California and some of the other crazy places.
Yes, it is.
But that's another reason they're moving here too.
Yes.
All right, we find ourselves talking about this because this is what's on everybody's mind.
Yes, I mean, we say it's where the money is, or look at where the money is. Look, this conversation is about the money, and we're all.
Hey, Allie, there is stuff to rent, Bo. You know where some places are to rent.
There are things to rent, and I guarantee you now there's be some of these newer houses that are going to come up for rent. But she has something to say. The rental market is hard, and what she's probably saying is in this specific. Say if you wanted in a nicer kind of neighborhood with a rental, they're hard to get.
You're not because all those people are homeowners.
No, sometimes there are some rentals.
Yeah, they're speckled in. Yeah. Where somebody buys a house and then they
in
rent
in that type of rental market, she's right.
But you're looking at what? All right, what's a 2-bedroom apartment or house? What should it rent for? Where in this area, based on what's really affordable, what would it be for a 2-bedroom apartment or a 3-bedroom house or 3-bedroom apartment for just a small starting family? What would it?
Well, I know what it is, and I don't know what it should cost, but I know currently that it can go, if you would range from 1,000 square foot 2-bedroom 1-bath house, it can range from $1,200 all the way up. If you go to say a 3-bedroom 2-bath, it's got a little bit more square footage, $2,200, and that's not that great.
Okay, Brandy comes up $2,400 a month. My son was paying $1,200 a month for rent 2-bedroom townhouse.
Yeah, nice house. You're doing 24 or more.
Yeah, you're looking even at $1,200 a month. That's a stretch based on what people make around here.
That was normal or high rent.
Yeah,
when not too long ago.
All right.
But there is some affordable rent around here. But affordable rent is anything over $1,000. I think nowadays. I think people could chime in better than that. I know some of the houses I've appraised recently that rent around the area, northern area of Shelbyville. They're around the $1,200 to $1,600, and they're in older neighborhoods. And they're not the best condition. And all day long.
The main thing: safe, structure sound. Maintained enough to where you have running water, good plumbing,
safe, sound,
heat
and
secure. Electric,
right.
Heat, air, and all that.
Right.
Where you can move in, but it's hard when you look at some of the townhomes that have been built and not sold, and then they come on the market for rent. You're looking at $2,000 at least.
Yeah, you are. And then the owner is looking at deferred maintenance on his house when he sells it. I mean, automatically it's like a new car. It goes down. It can affect the value and the condition, especially.
Okay, so Brandy, and the apartments here won't rent if you make over a certain amount. Now that's Section 8, and we got a lot of that.
We do have a lot of that. We have private ownership apartments around here. They're usually smaller, but I think there's one big one. We do have the Housing Authority. That's a HUD, and then you've got these other Section 8 that are affiliated on some type of level.
Well, when they start asking your income. Mm-hmm. And that qualifies you, that's Section 8.
Yeah, that's right. A lot more around here, the trend is duplexes. You'll see a lot of newer duplexes around here that are rented out. I know several of them around here, and they're nice. And I think they're around, they're probably $2,000 and up. I'm not really sure.
That's the thing. I mean, that's grossly overpriced.
In the older house, so you go that $2,000 to $3,000 in the older neighborhood, so $1,000 less.
So what does everybody need to do? Those people that are looking for somewhere affordable and can't find it, their option is family members or really close friends.
Yeah.
Okay. Ride the storm out until these prices come back down. Yeah. I say don't stretch yourself.
No.
And my advice to you would be do not stretch yourself just to say you got your own place.
Yeah.
because if you stretch yourself and don't make it, it's going to hurt your credit. And the next thing is, if everybody would hold out and do whatever they can do and not stretch themselves, I think the prices come down. One factor, insurance price, homeowners insurance, and the price of property taxes is a big problem for renters that are rent those landlords, not the renters, but the landlords, those that are renting the houses out. That's a big factor in cost.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a problem we've got coming. So the overall, it just doesn't look good, Poe.
No,
it looks like we're setting in a pattern here that's going to stay.
You bought several years ago. Right now, it's just not looking good.
Tony, what are you going to do? Move out and rent it? I would almost live in a tent if I could rent my house out.
You
for
can
what
make
it's
some
worth.
big money. Yeah, you can make some big money.
Or maybe a camper.
You would be a rich tent
Well,
dweller.
what about campers, Bo? We ain't talked about that in a couple of months. That was a big deal.
That was a big deal.
That's the only option some people have.
That is. And some people, that's what they want to live in. And, you know, whatever they don't think, and I kind of agree, the government don't need to tell you how you should live.
Oh, I could do it.
Yeah. There is a waste issue that needs to be. There are ways to do that, but no, I mean, I like a camper, but you know, there are people that do. I see several. You've got the weekenders, you've got the all-nighters, the dayers, the weekers, you got the years.
So Bobby Donovan comes in. He talks about the percentage, and it looks like he's saying, let's see, 150% living below 100% of the population. We're 62nd in percentage of population living below poverty level in the state of Tennessee. So
of 95
out
counties.
of 95 counties, we're in the bottom third.
Yeah,
that doesn't surprise me.
No.
I would say, honestly, if you got a real good look at it and you weren't relying on statistics that are coming from a census, and you take the people that are not counted and look at that, we're probably in the bottom 15%.
Yeah, I agree with that too, and sadly,
And that's sad.
But I love our town, and our town is looking better. I mean, I see several things that are on the up in our town. I do. I feel,
but the wrong things.
Well, I guess
here's the thing.
It's wrong in the eye of the beholder. I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, let's think about it. People say they want better places to eat.
Yeah.
Better places to shop, but we're sitting here talking about not being able to pay rent. Okay, if you can't pay rent, you don't need to worry about anywhere to shop. Okay, and you don't need to worry about $10 coffee either.
Yeah, no, you don't.
Okay,
and
so we got obviously we have two crowds, or we got split personalities. One of the two.
How's this going to work? I don't see. I don't know. But it's working right now, and Starbucks is going up. You know what I mean? So here we go.
Allie Puckett, and this is a statistic. She's dead on. 40% of children in Bedford County in the school system are living at or below poverty level, and that's a fact.
Yeah.
And poverty has a big influence on performance.
Oh yes, it does. It does. It's you know, your surroundings. It's what you're around and what you see, and that it's sad. That's a sad number that I would love to see come up. Another one. You know what could bring that up would be industry. I think if we could get some really healthy industry in here, they could have some workers, but the workers got to go to work. You know, I don't know how you solve that.
Everybody wants something for nothing.
Yeah.
I didn't say not everybody, but there's a lot of people out there that want something for nothing and don't want to work. The ones that are working their tails off right now that are trying to get this rent to where they can afford it or even consider buying a house have a hopeless wall that they're banging their head against. They're better off not to work, get government assistance, and get Section 8 housing than they are to try to fight and work. And that is not right.
That is broke.
That is a
broken system. It can't work. It can't sustain.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Rosemary, our first house was $16,000. And you know what? That won't even buy a used car right now.
No, good old that. Not at all.
In 1977. Well, we need to wrap things up.
I do want to mention one thing.
Well, let's come back.
Okay.
But let's hear from our sponsor. And speaking of homes and problems with homes, if you've got a leak, if you've sprung a leak, you've got a water heater that's popped.
Yeah.
The best route for you to go financially would be to call Norris Plumbing.
I would do that. 24 hours. It don't matter if it's 3 a.m.
Yeah. Let's hear from them, and we'll be right back to wrap up.
Norris Plumbing, your go-to source for licensed and insured plumbing services. 24-hour emergency services when you need it. Norris Plumbing. Call us at 931-703-5915.
All righty, welcome back in here to Real Talk. And I can think that's kind of what we've been doing today.
We've been really
talk.
talking, and hey, this participation today has been outstanding. We appreciate it.
Yes,
That's
what
what we
started
want.
out a little quiet on this Uncle Nearest ruling. By the way, in case you joined us late, Uncle Nearest, the ruling from the judge was that he has appointed that receiver that Farm Credit wanted, and the bank will take over all operations of Uncle Nearest.
That's right.
Now, Josh Blevins,
Yes.
who posted this on Facebook earlier,
City
on
Councilman
Shelbyville Now.
Josh Blevins.
Yeah, he's got all the facts. He's staying on top of it.
He's doing.
He knows a
good
lot
job.
of the details of this stipulation, and we will be on Saturday with the weekend wrap up at 10 o'clock. And Josh is going to dive in head first. This will be our headliner, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. But until then, check out Facebook. Josh has posted the story of the Uncle.
Yeah,
Nearest.
he broke the story.
He broke the story. It's on there. He originally broke the story. So read the update of the receiver that's been appointed. He's got all the details, and they'll have it Saturday too. But yeah, thanks for participation.
Yeah,
that's
also be on the lookout for Saturday. We will have our regular sports show right before the weekend wrap up show. We got a special guest coming on, Cascade coach. Jared Karkoff will be on with us to talk about Cascade football.
Of the Karkoff
we'll have
family.
a report from the Shelbyville scrimmage and a report from the community scrimmage, and we're looking forward to our coaches shows start up next week. We'll be doing community and Shelbyville coaches shows.
So that means Kenny Parker. That people get to see Kenny Parker more, right? I mean, it's always great. With
he's getting a little nervous, though. He don't like to give autographs. So.
Well, he's too famous, you know.
Yeah,
we love us some Kenny Parker.
One other thing here, Robert Donovan, the median home price in Bedford County is $339,900. Yep, that's what
it was. 380. You know, the last time we reported a few months ago. Yeah, that sounds about right. It ain't what it was several years ago. To say it in the country terms.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and we appreciate all the participation. I hope we got to everybody's comments. If we did, we apologize, but we'll be back again on Monday, and be sure and check us out on Saturday for all the shows. See you again.
See you.